You're listening to the Immortal Icons of Dance podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Johnson. In this season of the podcast, we're honoring two groundbreaking musicals that changed the course of Broadway history, A Chorus Line and Chicago. Both are celebrating their 50th anniversaries this summer. In this special season, we sit down with original cast members from each show to hear their memories from rehearsals and performances, the influence of their legendary mentors Michael Bennett and Bob Fosse, and how they carry those lessons forward in their work today. These are first-hand stories from the artists who lived it and danced it 8 times a week. All month long, I'll be sharing historical content about both shows. Be sure to follow @Immortal Icons of Dance to see vintage photos, behind-the-scenes footage, and excerpts from past interviews. For the full experience, you can visit The Vault on our website, immortaliconsofdance.com/vault. I hope you enjoy this season of interviews and join me in celebrating the legacy of these truly immortal icons of dance. Robyn Hurder is a Broadway dancer and actress with a career spanning 20 years. She made her Broadway debut in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang in 2005 and has appeared in the original Broadway productions of The Wedding Singer in 2006, Grease in 2007, and Nice Work If You Can Get It in 2012. Her breakout role came in the Broadway production of Moulin Rouge the Musical, where she originated the role of Nini in 2019. Robyn's performance in Moulin Rouge earned her a Tony nomination for Best Featured Actress in a Musical in 2020, as well as a Cheetah Rivera Award nomination. In the last several years, she's appeared on Broadway in A Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond Musical in 2022, and in Chicago the Musical as Velma Kelly in 2024. Most recently, she starred as Ivy Lynn in Smash the Musical. Robyn is a 2-time winner of the Cheetah Rivera Award for Outstanding Dancer in a Musical, both in 2023 and 2025, for her work in A Beautiful Noise and Smash. Her connection to A Chorus Line includes performing as Cassie in the 2010 national tour, and again in the 2018 Encores production at New York City Center. She was also featured along with Donna McKechnie in the PBS Great Performances 50th Anniversary Gala performance in 2023. This month, she'll be performing in the one-night-only A Chorus Line 50th Anniversary concert at the Shubert Theater. I'm very proud to be sitting here with Robyn Hurder, who's here to talk today about A Chorus Line and the role of Cassie. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We're going to start back at the very beginning. I want to know the first time you ever saw A Chorus Line.
Oh my gosh, that's a great first question. This was actually really special. I'm originally from Maine, and we didn't have a whole lot of access to theater, but my parents were really amazing at getting us into getting to see community theater. So there was this little place in Portland, Maine called the Lyric Theater, and I was 9 years old, and we went to see A Chorus Line. I had no idea what it was, and then we saw it, and I obviously fell in love at 9 with Val. I was like, that's what I want to do. And it was hilarious. I actually thought the whole Cassie moment was really boring.
Really?
I did. I was 9. I was like, oh my God, this one person just keeps talking and then she's singing and then she's, and I just didn't understand it, back then. But what I'll never forget is it was the first time when I saw something on stage, when I heard the dun 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 and the line, and they're all doing the kicks, and I started shaking and I started crying, and I got so embarrassed because I didn't know what was happening to me. Mm-hmm. And that's just like when we're inspired and moved, and something like live theater penetrates your soul. And I was 9 years old, and I was trying to wipe the tears away, and I was trying to not let my parents see me that I was crying. But that vamp, that just dun da da da, and you hear the bells dong dong, and they kick, and it goes and it fades out. It was this community theater, but that is burned into my soul. That one of those mental pictures, mental videos that I'll never forget that moment where I was like, that was a huge moment of me realizing oh, I think this is going to be a part of your DNA when you grow up.
Did you have any other encounters with the chorus line before let's say, the revival in 2006?
So I immediately made my parents go get the CD. And I wore that out. I listened to, again, it's hilarious. I skip over music in the mirror. And then it's like been the biggest part of my career. It's hilarious. But I burnt out Dance 10 Looks 3. And I was like making up dances, showing my parents, so that, I was like Val. And I would, do the kicks at the end of the, for, one. Mm-hmm. But funny enough, I did not see another production of a chorus line. I was never part of one. And I just, in 2006, right? Mm-hmm. I saw the revival. No, when I went to like a hot second at UNH, University of New Hampshire, and I was, I did my freshman year, and I was like, yeah, it's great. I'm going to go back my sophomore year. And the minute I went back in the fall, I was like, I made a mistake. I'm like, I shouldn't be here. I don't want to go to school. I think I need to go. I need to do it. I need to try. And so I did my first semester, and on that winter break, I told my mom, I was like, I really want to see if I can do this. I want to try an audition. And I was looking at Backstage online. I saw this 1 week, and it was the first week back in my second semester. And I was like, can I just skip school that week and go to New York and just try it? And she was like, yes, do it. So I did. And it was an audition for there were other auditions that I went to, but the non-union European national tour of a chorus line. And I ended up getting that job. Mm-hmm. I was cast as Vicky Vickers. Vicky Vickers, understudy Val and Sheila. Mm-hmm. At 19, mind you. And I had gotten so many, like, it was just like ignorance is bliss. I walked in there being like, here I am, I know nothing. And I think it just read as like, this girl's crazy and fun and spirited. And I ended up getting a lot of jobs, but I didn't end up taking the chorus line tour. I ended up doing a cruise ship that went to Europe that was choreographed by Wayne Salento, the original Mike. Yeah, wild. Huh. And that was the time when he was like, we'd be in rehearsals for the cruise ship, and he'd be like, yeah, I'm working on this new show about the two witches from Oz. And I was just like, it's like, cool. Anyway, so that was my other, from seeing that when I was 9, that was when I was 19. I auditioned for that in New York, and I didn't end up taking it. Anyway, and then you have the whole Broadway thing. It was in 2005, I was doing Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, my Broadway debut, and it was great because the auditions were in that studio in the Lyric Theater. Mm-hmm. Like, they've got that weird third floor studio where they hold a lot of auditions. So I remember Heather Parcells, who ended up being the revival Judy. Mm-hmm. We would get ready in our dressing rooms, our Broadway dressing rooms, and then we'd go up and we were auditioning, and I knew that they were doing the documentary, so we were filling out the paperwork and stuff like that. And I was in a Capezio, high cut, a white crop top, 2 pigtails. Like, I was like, I want to be it's hilarious. I've aged out of it. I'm never going to do it. I was ready to go in, but they were like, when they were talking to us, they're like, we don't come in for a role. And I was like, but I was like, no, this is what I'm right for, like, hands down. I was 22, 23. And so, I went in, and I can't even remember I sang Always True to You for Bob Avian. He's like, do you have anything else? Like, let's not do the Val thing. We want to keep it open. We want to, and I was like, I sang something else, but I was like, okay, thank you. And that was it. Was never called back. And then this revival, this national tour is about to go out. Clyde and I are planning a wedding, and he gets Mike, which is amazing. And I wanted to be Val, but I get a call from Bender Casting saying they want you to go to Cassie camp. And I was like, excuse me? I was like, I was 27. I was 27 years old, and I was like, I am not right for this role. And they were like, no, you can sing it, and you can dance it, and you can act it. I was like, sure, but like, this is so real. These are real people. I've never not worked. By that point, I was going from job to job to job. I was working in Broadway shows. I was like, I don't know what it's like to be unemployed. Like, I mean, that sounds so crappy, but it was like, I had just had this string of like going from show to show, and I'm like, I'm reading this material, and I'm like, this is a woman, and yes, I'm 27 years old, but I'm like, I don't know, I haven't gone through any of this. This is really mature and deep content that I just don't feel right. I just didn't feel right doing it, but I went and I did that Cassie camp, which was the most difficult and intimidating, and it was just me and two other gals. And of course, when you start working on material, with anything, even if you don't feel like you're right for it, you fall in love with it, and you're just like, oh wait now, and you become attached to this. And I kind of started forgetting about that. Okay, well, no, maybe I can do this. And I worked on that material. This was a 2-week Cassie camp that we did. Mm-hmm. And we finally do the audition, and sure enough, I didn't get it because I was, quote, too young. So I had a massive breakdown. But then they said, come in for Val. And I was like, thank you. Right. And they offered me Val. And I was like, thank you. Like, yes, I'm going to do it. Finally going to have my dream role, Val. But I was in Greece, Kathleen Marshall's Greece at the time, and they were very strict about not breaking your contract. And she didn't let me out. And she was like, which she absolutely had every right. I mean, it's like, she's like, Robyn, if we let you out of this opens the floodgates to, you've got to honor the contract. And I didn't want to mess around with her because I had already done a couple readings of the show Nice Work If You Can Get It as Jeannie Muldoon. And I didn't want to mess up that relationship with her. So I didn't fight it. Cut to Clyde goes out on tour. They're out on tour 3 months in. They're like, we want you to come back in. And I don't even remember what theater I was in. They brought me, Bob, Avian, Baayork, they brought me on stage, and I did the whole thing. I did the scene, the song, the entire dance, which I didn't even do in the initial audition. But I was like, I'm gonna do the whole thing. And an hour later, I got the offer. I was gonna take over after 6 months, and it was great. I did it for a year. I was with Clyde. We got married on that tour. It was wild. We got to see a lot of the country. We got to go to Japan, but I was in a state of rage. I couldn't really enjoy myself. I had to measure my steps because I was too worried about my legs. I couldn't go out the way I wanted to go out and tour and see the country because I was just so afraid of my stamina and my strength and all that stuff. And it was also my first experience of like, well, let me read a review. And it just, like, my very first review, she was also like, this woman was the devil. Like, she was out for blood, but it was in Baltimore. And I just remember reading it, and I mean, she basically just said, this girl has no talent. It was really bad. And that was the last time I read a review. I was like, oh, this can really damage a soul. Yeah. So I think that kind of affected me, but like the whole time I felt like a fraud. I was like, I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. I'm singing and dancing and saying the words, and I'm acting it fine, but I'm faking it. I'm making pretend, and she's more special than that. And so I have really mixed feelings about that whole year of my life playing Cassie on the national tour.
So then will you tell me about the Cassie curse?
Oh my God. So Baayork says to me, it's so funny. She goes, so Robyn, she's talking to me. This is like the last city. I think we're in, Calgary or Vancouver, somewhere West Coast Canada. And she, Baayork goes, well, you know about the Cassie curse, right? And I was like, someone what? I was like, excuse me? And she's like, well, the Cassie curse, like after you play the role, you live it. And I was like, okay. And sure enough, after that tour, I didn't work for 3 years. Did not work for 3 years. I went through so much turmoil with myself. I lost myself. I thought because I did the role of Cassie that I'm like, well, you're like a leading lady now, and you're not going to do the roles that you did before, or you thought you wanted to do before. And I went into every audition just with like such desperation that they can sniff that out. The minute you open up the door and they get a whiff of that energy, they're like, get out of here, you know? And I'm just trying, I was trying to be something that wasn't true to me. And that's what I always say to anybody. I'm like, oh my God, just be yourself. Literally. It sounds so basic, but don't try to be anyone but your true, authentic self, because they can see that. And the truth is, that's what they want. They don't want you to put on some act. So it took me a few years to learn that. It was when, you know, Nice Work If You Can Get It popped up, and I was like, this is what I want to do, you know?
Mm-hmm. Up until that point, who had been the biggest influence on your Cassie? Had you watched footage of Donna yet, or was it Baayork coaching you? Like,
yeah, you know, I watched so many videos. I watched Donna the most. Mainly for how she sang, and because, you know, that black and white version is like, she's doing, it's unbelievable what she's doing, but it's not even what we're taught now. But it's so free and it's so real, and it's like, I mean, we all could go on about it. But I would scour YouTube and watch every single Cassie, but then I started to get very intimidated and down on myself, because you see all these different versions of it, and I'm like, well, I'm not doing that, or I'm not doing it that way, or, you know. So I kind of just really focused on the text and trying to come from my truthful place, which is how I've always tried to attack any role. It's got to come from like Robyn's truth.
yeah.
And not try to go off. I mean, they were all my inspiration, but after a while I like closed the laptop and I was like, why don't you figure it out for you, because you're not them. And, you know.
I think a lot of dancers, their first Cassie that they see, they always have like a special place in their heart for them. Like the first time that you're introduced to that material.
Yeah.
So you were my first Cassie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I saw the City Center Revival right here. I was there the second to last night of the run. And it was my first time seeing a chorus line. I was in like the back row of the balcony, like the cheapest possible seat, but I like just had to be there because it was a sold out, you know, week. And that was my first time seeing you perform ever, also. So that's like a very special memory for me. And then, of course, being back here in the theater and talking with you now about Cassie is very special.
7 years later? Is it 2018?
Yeah.
I know. That was,
Tell me about booking that job.
I mean, it's like I always talk about the universe, and you're like, girl, trust. I'm like, it takes its time, and it could be a day, a week, or it could be 10 years, but you always, whatever's happening to you at that time, you have to trust that it's happening for a reason. And you know those days where you're just like, I remember what I was wearing, how I had my hair, what Clyde looked like, where we were driving. We were going apple picking. It was, September 17th, I think, to be exact. And we're driving to go apple picking, and I get a call from my agent, and he says, hey, so listen, I've been trying to put off this call, but Binder really, he's like chomping at the bit. He wants you to know. And I was like, what? And the thing is, people have been like, oh my God, are you doing, you know, City Center, Chorus Line, it was like the rage, you know? And I was like, oh God, no, it's like, they're going to get some celebrity for Cassie, you know? And, you know, they've been negotiating with Julianne Hough, and, you know, because of some conflicts, they're having a hard time working out her deal. Basically, in 2 hours, if it's a no from her, you have the part. And I remember being in the car, and like from the top of my head all the way down to it was like an entire goosebump. Like, I call it, like, when I get that feeling, it's like something magical. It's like a magic tingle that it went from head to toe. And I couldn't believe it, but in my soul, I was like, you're gonna do this. You're gonna do it again. And I was 36 at that time. And I told Clyde, and I was like, I told him the story, and he's like, are you kidding me? I'm like, no. And so we go apple picking, and we get back home that night, and I'm like cooking dinner in the kitchen, and my agent doesn't even call me. I get my email, and I'll start crying. It just says offer for Cassie. And I screamed at the top of my lungs, and I dropped to my knees, and I crawled to Clyde. He was on the couch, and I just showed him my phone, and I was bawling. I was like, I'm gonna, and I just kept saying, like, I get to do it again. I'm gonna do it right. Like, I get to do it now. Like, I have lived. I've gone through the horror that this business can give you. I've gotten married. I've had a child. We've gone through so many ups and downs, moving into apartments and moving into a house. And like, I've experienced so much life, working, losing jobs, you know, rejection, all of that. And now I just felt like this gift. It's like the universe was waiting. It's like, it's about time, girl. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because now you're going to do it, and you're going to do it correctly, and it's going to be so special. And I could feel that. And so it was just, I don't know, to this day, it's still like, it turned my career. Mm-hmm. It's like, it changed at that moment. I was like, I'll never do Cassie again unless it's in New York. And I remember saying that. I didn't say Broadway. I would say, if only it's in New York. Mm-hmm. And this was so special. The cast was so special. Yeah. And it was magical. Like, when we were in rehearsals, and it's a quick rehearsal process, and, you know, I'm a week earlier where I'm alone in that room with Baayork, doing her warm up. She's like, I was just working with her again now. Like, she's just like, I call her, you know, my mother hen. I will always, if I can, do it for her. You know what I mean? Like, she's, it's just something about the legacy, and like, her energy, and you can feel how much this obviously is her life, and it means so much to her, and she's held on to everything because Michael is so important to her, and this material and where it came from, the root of it. Mm-hmm. And you can feel it when you're in the room with her. And it's that old school, they command respect. You know, it's like, it's a commanding feeling. And of course, dancers, we have a level of discipline unlike any other type of, you know, mm-hmm. craft. I think dancers, we're a different breed. We are the hardest workers, and we're taught at a very young age to respect authority. And, you know, it is, you want me to jump how high, you know? She's the sweetest little thing. She's also like the feistiest little, you know, little gremlin, the cutest little gremlin sometimes, but, you know, she's hard. Mm-hmm. I like almost like a mother-daughter. I get very frustrated with her. She's like, okay, again? And I'm like dead on it. And I remember rehearsing for the tour. She made me do it twice in a row, because you know how they stack it, how you train for it. you know, you start at the pirouettes and then you go from heat wave and you go from Swan Lake and, you know, and you keep going, you keep doing it. And there was a time where I ran the dance, I ran the whole thing, and she's like, let's do it again. And I ran it again. And I'm about to vomit, and I'm on my back, and she rolls out your legs, and she feeds you the grapes and the watermelon. She's like, okay, again. And I was like, no, I'm going for a walk. And I just left, and I left Ripley, and I took a walk around the block. I was just fuming, because I'm like, in no world am I ever going to be this tired trying to do this dance. Anyway, but you know, I knew what she was doing. Yeah. But she's just really, really wonderful, and she just makes me smile. She's just such a spirit. She like sparkles. Even just seeing her just now, I'm just means so much to her. And if I can help in any way, and obviously I'm so honored and flattered to be a part of this whole thing, and you know, she's the greatest. She'll always be my mother hen. Mm-hmm. She's so cute.
Is there a note from her that always like plays in your ear when you're performing it?
The biggest one is her counting down in the pose. You know, you do the logo, dun, 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 dun. 1, 2, no, she counts down 16, 15, 14, and you have to hold it that long because she's like, the applause, Robyn. You cannot break the pose until you hear the peak of the applause start to go down. That's why we have to hold it for 16 counts. And she's like, 16, 15, and you're just there, and you're just like, and lip is quivering, going numb, and you're just like, and she's like, no, don't, pancake hands, and I'm just like, and she's like, reach, and I'm like cramping everywhere, and you know, but that is the biggest thing with her. I mean, I have so much of her voice in my head, but the other biggest thing is and it's very helpful, she says, Robyn, when you're tired, that's when you rely on your technique. Do not think about the pain that you're going through. Like, you know, after heat wave and this, dun, 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 dun. It's like you're going to pee. It's literally, you don't know how you're going to hold on to your bodily it's like the fatigue in your legs and your lungs are on fire. And she says, don't think about that. You have to rely on your technique. That's why first day of rehearsal, you will always start with pirouettes and you'll work on them for a while, just getting that down, because it has to be a program, because you're so tired at the end, especially if you're doing a show after show. It's like you just have to remember, plie, tuck, arm. Like the arm is what's going to take you. If you start getting tired and you don't think about this muscle that goes like that, you're going to go, you know what I mean? It's, and all, I could go on now that I'm thinking about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I hear her all the time. But yeah, no, the biggest one is I can hear her voice when I'm holding.
Speaking of holding the end pose, let's jump back into the City Center performance. Yeah. Tell me about that.
That was still probably the most special, spiritual, everything about it. I'm like, it was the highlight for me, my performing career. That one night was so special because I was like, just let go. Do not think about, you have the technique. This is your I said, I'm like, this is the last time I'm going to do it. Like, I don't think I'm going to do it again.
You were saying goodbye to it.
Yeah. And I was like, and I'm just so grateful for the gift. Jesus, that's what we say. It's like, it was ours to borrow. And I'm like, I am not going, like, I didn't think they were going to revive it anytime soon, or it'd be, when I'm not going to be dancing like that. But I was like, you just get lost in the music, girl, and you let it fly. And I did. And it was so fun. And I wasn't thinking about being tired, and I was just just coming from such a real, authentic place of where Cassie was. It's like, you always approach everything as an actor first, I feel, as a dancer. And that's what moves people, and that's what connects you to the audience. But yeah, I just remember I was like, I don't care how tired you are going. I was screaming, and I did back, da da da, and I was like, just land it, do not stumble. And I was like, da 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 ba, and I held it, and I just remember like tears were streaming down my face because they were screaming, and I was like, oh my God, they like me. And it was just like, I was so proud of myself, and like thinking about that year on tour where I just felt like I shouldn't be doing it. Not that I wasn't like good enough, but she's so special. And I should know what this woman feels like. And I did. And it was just everything. And they clapped for a really long time. I mean, it was probably like a minute. I mean, they just clapped, and after a while, when I say that my whole bottom jaw, it went completely numb, I was like, oh, I'm having a moment. Like, it's like numb. But I was like, they're not stopping, so I can't break it because Baayork will get mad at me. I'm like, she's fine. She's going to be fine with it. But after a while, I was like really cramping, and I got up, and even when I stood up, they were still clapping, but I can't see anything. Like, I can't see out because you just see, I don't know, the Zach dot, the red dot, and then like some blue, purpley lights, I think. And at the end of the show, Tony goes, all right, standing O. And I was like, what? He's like, Robyn, they all stood up. And I was like, are you serious? I was like, I did it. I did it the way I wanted to do it, and I felt right about it. And I was like, thank you, universe. Okay, I get it. I get you. Okay, thank you. And then, from then on, it's amazing what City Center can do. It was five performances or 6? I don't know.
Yeah, it's like maybe 6.
Yeah, I mean, crazy.
When did you first meet Donna, and how did you react?
I first met Donna. I was going to Green Room 42 to watch my friend Mark William do his like little cabaret show, and she was there, and I was like, hi, I'm Robyn. And I just was kind of a weirdo, and I was just like, I was like, oh my God. And people were like, oh, let's get a picture. And it wasn't until we did the PBS Great Performances that I got to do it with her. Yeah. And I was a holy disaster.
We're going to get into that.
Great.
In just a second.
Love.
I'm going to paint a little picture of that moment in time from my perspective. Mm-hmm. So one of the places that I work is at the David H. Cook Theater at Lincoln Center. I work there as an usher, and 2 years ago, in 2023, there was this mystery shift that appeared on our calendar, our work calendar. Mm-hmm. And we had to put in our availability without knowing what it was that we were going to be working. But when you posted on Instagram a couple weeks later that you were at Lincoln Center rehearsing with an old friend, my radars went off. I was like, oh my gosh, is this the mystery event that I'm working? Like, what's happening? And so I start Googling and searching and find the PBS Great Performances 50th anniversary, and all the information is out there. I don't know why we weren't told that that's what it was. Mm-hmm. And the cast was there. And I read, the star-studded cast was 20, 25 names. And the only 3 names that mattered to me were Chita Rivera, Donna McKechnie, Robyn Hurder. And I was like, oh my gosh, for one night in my life, I can say that I've worked in the same theater as these people.
Well, I'm with you. I was the list, I was like, I don't think I belong here. This is wild. I felt like a very little girl that day. I was like, people are fancy.
I knew immediately. I was like, okay, your old friend is not a person, it's a role. This is either going to be Roxy or Cassie. I just knew right away. I was just thrilled that you all were at my theater. That we all walked in through the same stage door to go to work that day. And my house manager knew how much that the night meant to me. So he stationed me down in the front of the orchestra.
That's amazing.
But before the house opened, so I'm like down front in the orchestra, and I have a picture. I just placed my hand on the stage, and you know, next to the gold numbers that were up front, and I was like, Donna and Cheetah are going to be on this stage in like 30 minutes, and like I'm touching the stage that they are on. Cut to the performances started, and I was really grateful that I had run into you the day before, and you'd kind of given me a rundown of what to expect from the segment. So I thought I was emotionally prepared for the magnitude of like, okay, it's Donna, and then you have a moment, and then Cheetah comes on, and I had my tissues ready. And, you know, I've read all the books about a chorus line, I've seen all the YouTube footage, listened to the cast album, but all of a sudden, I've time traveled and I'm hearing Donna sing her song. And she sounds the same. And I was crying already. And then she's saying Zach's lines, and she starts calling out dancers' numbers. And the part where she should say Cassie, which is what I'm expecting.
Gonna start crying again.
What you're expecting is that she calls out Cassie, and she goes, Robyn? And I gasped. Because I'm like, that changes everything.
149. Robyn?
But I'm like, that changes everything, because now she's giving you permission to be yourself with her on stage. Like, this is not, you're not a role anymore.
It was wild when Warren told me what was going on. And yeah, that first day of rehearsal with her, I had 17 breakdowns. It was insane.
So that night, I mean, and then you had the honor of presenting Cheetah to the stage as you exited, and hearing her sing her song at 90.
I was like one of those pinch me moments. I was like, how am I mean, Donna literally goes like this, and she's basically saying, the dance is yours. And then I do some pirouettes, and then I just present Cheetah Rivera. That night I was like, how did I get here? Like, it was just another really, really special moment to be able to revisit her. But it's just really, really, really special hearing Donna sing that. I was like, you sound exactly the same. And when she faces upstage and she just goes, dun-dun, she had to hold me. Like, I'm like, I'm sorry, it's just really special. Like, you know, and she's like, this is really special for me. Like, she's so gracious. And I'm like, but no, you know.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I'll never forget, she said to me when we were like getting her hair and makeup done, she said, just promise me you'll always do my dance. I know, because, you know, people are trying to do different things. And I was like, I promise. I would never, ever do anything else. Yeah. She wants, you know, you can, with Baayork, with you know, Donna, it's so special to them. It's all relevant. Nothing has changed. Yeah. We're still doing it. We're still going through these auditions and the same feelings, you know, it's what I did for love. It's like, when you get injured, it's like, what am I gonna do? And I'm thinking about that now. I'm like, I don't know if I want to sing and dance anymore, or if I can, and like, what would I do? It's like, it's part of my DNA. It's like, they have to be grateful for it. You know, you have to be grateful that in that moment, you have this gift. And we know we're not always going to have it. So take advantage of it when you have it. And again, that PBS moment with Donna was just like, I am so grateful. And then when I got the email from Baayork that she said, this was literally, I think, the day I found out we were closing Smash. And I got the email from Baayork saying, Donna would like you to sing with her. I burst into tears. I was like, I'm going to sing her song with her on her stage at the Shubert on the line. And you think about me, 9 years old, Lyric Theater, watching the ones and crying. And now I'm like, look at you, you're with that OG.
will you tell me a little bit more about working in the studio with Donna? How did she change your perspective on the role when you worked with her?
She was so gracious, and she was asking me what I wanted to do. And I was like, don't ask me that. I was like, this is yours. I just want to do whatever you want to do. But no, she would just talk about, you know, stories with her and Michael in the studio. But she was also recovering from a hip replacement. So she was also very, very, she was very, very nervous, and she would hold my hand. And that was what the sweetest thing was. Like, she was just, I don't know. I'm like, I'm really working with a legend right now, and you're just holding my hand and asking for my input. And I'm like, I'm just here for you to tell me what you would like me to do. Mm-hmm. But she was very collaborative and just a dream.
Lightning round.
Oh, I love a lightning round, but sometimes I'm really bad at them.
All right. I want to know, what's the most difficult part of Music in the Mirror for you from a technical standpoint?
Definitely the pirouettes. Mm-hmm. It's, you know, you want to nail them. It's the end of the storytelling, and you always want to hit that triple in the last one, and sometimes she doesn't always happen. And just the stamina. You're just your jello legs, and you just want it, but you want to finish as strong as you possibly can. So, hands down, it's definitely the pirouettes.
Mm-hmm. Is there a part of Music in the Mirror that feels like a sweet spot for you that you can just kind of like ride in?
Oh yeah, it's the opening section. Da 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 da. The drums, man. It's like, I love that part. I live for it. Uh-huh. After that, you know, everything else, it gets increasingly harder and scarier, and you're just constantly thinking about, you know, keep breathing. Every breath is choreographed, you know, with every movement. So yeah, I love the first time we dance. Yeah. And then I'm like, I'm fresh. Like, I'm sprightly, yeah. You know.
Do you have a favorite Cassie line or lyric?
Yes, it's in the second scene. That was my favorite moment of the show, when he's like, but you're special. No, we're all special. Sheila's special, so-and-so. We're all special. And I can't remember specifically, but she says, like, I would be honored to be in that line. And that's it. Mm-hmm. You know, it's her final, like, I've been telling you this. Like, I just want to work. I just want to get a job. I want to, like, it's not just being on the line. It's being a part of the community, being a part of the experience. You know, like, even me rehearsing this new show, I'm like, oh, a new community, mm-hmm. You know.
Mm-hmm. What is your proudest moment as Cassie?
I mean, I think my proudest moment was my final performance of City Center, just because it was just such full circle, and I was so grateful that I had the opportunity, and I was so proud of myself that I worked so hard, and really, really, like, I went into her world, and I just tried to honor every single Cassie before me, but most importantly, Donna. Mm-hmm. I just felt like I did it, you know, I'm not saying I did it correctly for me.
Yeah.
And I was just so grateful, grateful and proud.
Mm-hmm. And finally, you got to do it in New York, and now you get to do it on the Shubert Theater stage.
Yeah, I get to be on the line with the legend herself.
Yeah. So what does it mean to you to be a part of the 50th anniversary?
As a dancer first, this is the show. This is our anthem, you know, and the fact that I got to be a part of this legacy, but now it's the 50th anniversary, and we're at the Shubert, and there will be the line on the stage, and I'm going to be singing next to the person, like the OG, and I'm proud of myself, because I'm like, you worked your ass off to get here, but it always was from a truthful place. And we've gone, you know, I've gone through hills and valleys and the ups and the downs, the ebbs and the flows of the business, and to land here on this very, very special night with so many amazing people. I'm just really honored and grateful. I know that's a very overused term, but good things can't keep coming into your life without an abundance of gratitude. So that's really all I'm feeling right now. I can't wait. It's going to be a really magical night. Like when she steps on that stage, we were saying it to her and she just like laughs and giggles. And I'm just like, you're so cute. And and she's like, yeah. And I'm like, no, Donna, but like, yeah. Baayork's like, the theater is going to explode.
The night is going to last forever because no one's ever going to stop clapping after every single number.
I know.
Thank you so much for being here.
My
I
pleasure.
know that you're all over the place right now. You're in high demand. You're running from studio to studio and working on a lot of special things, including this one. So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. Very happy. The Immortal Icons of Dance podcast is written, edited, and produced by me, Lauren Johnson. Our music is written and produced by Shelby Rassler of Jenkins & Rassler, and technical support is provided by Anne-Marie Johnson and Jenny Albrecht. Major support for this season of the podcast was provided by Robert Schulman. I also wish to thank sponsors Zahif, Jenny, Margarita, Natalie, Mary, Liz, Jean, and Denise. If you'd like to support the work being done here by Immortal Icons of Dance, visit immortaliconsofdance.com/donate.